All right, so today we're going to talk about yoga. We're going to talk about what yoga means, why people do yoga, different types of yoga, and at the very end, we're going to do a yin yoga workshop. And then I'm going to tell you what to expect over the next 3 weeks with this yoga practice. So first thing is first, what is yoga? So yoga is for everybody and everyone, but what really is it? Yoga is an art form that's over 5,000 years old. And then from the Vedic culture, they created it. And from there, different cultures have adapted to it, adopted it, and made it their own. So that's really what's beautiful about yoga, is that everybody kind of views yoga a little bit differently. In the Western culture, we view yoga more as a physical practice, but I view yoga more as a moving meditation. And a lot of people start yoga. They're introduced to yoga because of the physical aspects of it, because of all the benefits there are when you do yoga. People want to gain flexibility. They want to gain strength. They want to lower their blood pressure. Maybe they want to help with diabetes. And the big one, anxiety and stress release. So what I want you to do before you go any farther with this video is post below how much you know about yoga. If it's nothing, say nothing. I just kind of want to know and get the discussion going. And if you are familiar with yoga, tell us what that means to you. So there are a lot of different types of yoga, all right? And I've listed them down here, and I'm going to go into them just a little bit, but the most popular are Vinyasa yoga. Vinyasa yoga is really where your breathing is guiding the movement. So take, for example, there we go. So take, for example, we do arms overhead. We inhale up. And then we exhale, side bend. Inhale up. So we're moving along with the breath. That's a Vinyasa movement. And you'll learn next week about pranayama, which is the practice of breathing during those movements. But there's also other different forms. There's freedom yoga, there's Iyengar yoga, and Iyengar yoga is created by a gentleman that is very, very strict about fundamentals and postures and how they should look, and and freedom yoga is just the opposite. It's just like kind of, hey, if you're not perfectly aligned, it's okay. So we have aerial yoga now. That's all the rage. I prefer to stick with the traditional ones. They all have their benefits. They're all fun. And, for me personally, yoga is that moving meditation. And so I love just the traditional vinyasa. And of course, don't forget hot yoga. But all of that I just mentioned to you guys is a product of yang yoga. Yang, as a lot of people say it, Y-A-N-G. And there is the opposite of yang, which is yin. All right, so yin is the more feminine and yang is the more production. So when you're doing yang, you're working with muscles, right? Muscles are holding you up, right? You're in warrior, what can y'all say? We're just gonna stand. Hell, we're just gonna stand. And what's holding you up? Muscles are holding up. Your core is engaged, right? And then when you forward fold, you're coming through. Your quads are engaged. Your core is lifted. You're reaching through your spine. Everything is defying gravity. And that's very masculine, very production mode yoga. And in fact, that's what we do a lot throughout the day. We focus on muscular movement. I mean, picking up my mouse, that's a muscle, right? Picking up my water, that's a muscle. Telling my kids to quit screaming at each other. Muscles, yang, production mode. But the opposite of that is that nurturing, that feminine mode, the yin, the dragon, the smooth moving dragon. And what I found is that we don't do enough yin within our day to counterbalance the yang. All right? So this whole retreat has to do with slowing down. We do all this muscle work. We do all this production work all day. Our brains are producing thoughts all day long. So the point of yin is to counterbalance that. And have things just relax a little bit. And in yin poses, you hold for time, so you're not going to breathe through a movement. You're going to hold for time, and you're also going to it's going to use gravity. So gravity is going to be allowing you to get deeper into the asana, which is really pretty amazing. And at the same time, it can hurt, all right? So basically what I mean by hurt is that the physical aspect of it is not dealing with muscle anymore. We're getting into soft tissue. 30% of your muscle is soft tissue. Soft tissue is fascia, ligaments, and tendons, and it goes from the tip of your head all the way down to the very bottom of your feet. And we stress fascia. We don't stretch it. We elongate muscles. That's stretching. We stress fascia. And we get little kinks all up in that fascia. And what happens is that a lot of times we'll find that we have joints that hurt. Oh, but we keep stretching. We keep stretching and nothing's happening. Well, what it is it might be your tendons. It's connecting to the bone that's kinked up, right? And then it's pulling on the muscle because 30% of your muscle is fascia. Fascia goes all the way deep to where the muscle fiber, the muscle movement begins, and it's connected. Everything is connected. It's that big a deal. It's been overlooked for many years, and yin yoga now is, it changes everything. It changes everything in the face of yoga. It adds that counterbalance. Now, that's the physical aspect of it. I have had people come into my yoga classes for 2 weeks and relieve themselves of pain, of back pain, of hip pain. It is very powerful. But at the same time, it's hard, guys. What's the hardest thing to do? Nothing. It really is. So when we do nothing, we're letting gravity sink us down and we're stressing that fascia, and it's pretty intense. We're gonna do some of that next week when we start our morning sessions. So the mental aspect of it, there are some people that say that yin yoga is for intermediate yoga practitioners, all right? And when I say practitioner, we're all practicing yoga. I don't like to say doing yoga because it is a practice. It's a constant practice, and we all have to start somewhere. But yin makes you go inside, stay inside, and not worry about movement, form, anything. You have to be with yourself. And there's a very powerful emotional release when we do hip openers. I have people that are just crying in class, and it's a good cry. It's just this release that they need. So mentally, it's very still. It is really about finding that inner peace and almost like a meditation. And we'll get into meditation more next week. So here's what I want you to expect over the next 3 weeks.